Hi, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started now. This session is being recorded. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Linda Glover, the GIS Sales and Services Manager here at Frontier, and I'm your main sales contact. My co-presenter today is Chad Mintier, and Chad is the Software Solutions Manager and has earned his GISP certificate. Today, we're excited to introduce our new FieldSeeker GIS for invasive plant control software. However, the basis of the software is not new. We've had GIS-based software for mosquito control applications for the last 15 years. Some of our mosquito control customers have dual responsibilities of mosquito and weed control. They've been asking us for a similar workflow for the weed control side of things. So this new sister product is a result of those requests. Before we dive into the presentation and live software demonstration, I have a couple of housekeeping items. We won't be stopping for questions. However, please list your question in the question section of the GoToWebinar window, and we'll send answers and provide a link of the recorded webinar by email tomorrow. So we'll go ahead and get started with our presentation here. A little bit about the company. Frontier is an employee-owned company, and we've been in business for over 30 years. We're successful and growing. In fact, we just made the Inc. magazine list of top 5,000 companies for growth rate in 2020, so we're really proud of that. And we do provide our Frontier software products and GIS services across the U.S. and also internationally. Frontier offers a variety of geospatial products and services. So if you go out to our website at frontierprecision.com, you'll see all types of different types of mapping and surveying systems. And we do specialize in getting data to the field and back. We've been a long-term Esri partner. So we like to use the Esri GIS to increase operational insights. And as I mentioned before, we've had our mosquito and vector control software products for over 15 years. So that's provided a proven way for us to come out with the FieldSeeker for invasive plant control software. It's a complete solution for mapping and reporting integrated weed management plan activities. And it's designed to be a hub for all important data, so that way all your data is centralized so it can be easily shared, analyzed, and updated through the organization. It's a cloud-based system that utilizes the benefits of the Esri Web GIS, and we provide field-to-office workflows that track plant occurrence and assessment, bioreleases, chemical and mechanical treatments, treatment assessments, service requests, and simple billing. And you'll kind of get to see all those in action here when Chad takes over. I also wanted to mention we do have a variety of drone systems that we can utilize for invasive plant control. And some of those applications include inspections, liquid and granule treatments, and mapping and LiDAR applications. We do have a formalized help desk set up so that we can give you unlimited technical support. So whatever software or systems that you purchase from us, we can help you be successful as possible with those. FieldSeeker is based on the Esri ArcGIS Online platform, and it's made up of two parts, one being the Office web app. And so the Office web app is in the Office, and this provides a dashboard landing page with full GIS capabilities with user roles. And then we configure the system and the pick list here. We do the data management, and then it also has a robust reporting system and also different ways that we can search, filter, query, and review data. Then we have a cross-platform mobile app that we use to collect the data in the field. And then we can also import data from aerial, truck, and drone spray systems to use alongside all the other applications. So FieldSeeker is an all-in-one app, and it has the workflows for all the applications I mentioned before. So in regards to the chemical or mechanical treatment, you can either draw in or use GPS to create the point, line, or polygon for treatment sites. And then the software can also record a GPS track of where the truck's been driven. We can also import data from Raven, aerial, or other drone systems. And then we can tie it all in so we have invoicing for time and materials. We also have an on-truck inventory system, so this helps track the chemical inventory between the warehouse and truck and back. So it also has reconciliation tools, so corrections can be made to keep that inventory accurate. We have tools for aerial, truck, and drone proposed treatment areas, also restricted area management. And FieldSeeker is also integrated with the standard navigation app that's on the phone and tablets so that directions can be provided to treatment sites. We can choose a variety of Esri-based maps. We support picture attachments. Since this is a cloud-based system, it does lend itself to real-time connectivity, but we do also support offline editing. If you don't have good cell coverage and you want to preload your maps and data to the mobile device, you can go out and collect the information and then synchronize it back to the system after the fact as well. Our cross-platform mobile app is compatible with current generation iOS, Android, or Windows 10 devices. The app is deployed through the app stores, and the app operates the same between device types. Then on our Office app, it is a JavaScript web app that's accessible from any web browser. So we don't install anything on your Office computers. And since it is browser-based, you can access it from any computer at any time. We also use the Esri ArcGIS online platform to increase functionality and share data. And since most people these days are familiar with web apps and mobile apps, the workflows are familiar and it's easy to train personnel on. This is an example of the FieldSeeker dashboard. So when you use FieldSeeker, this is the first place that you're going to come into. And so you have all the buttons for the different workflows that are available through the web app. And then you also have your data graphically displayed here of what's been done the last 7 days or 30 days. But if you click the map button, you do have the GIS map at your fingertips with all the different data layers. And Chad will be showing you more of this in depth here in a few minutes. Why the Esri platform? Well, it's an industry standard, and 94% of local government agencies already use Esri GIS. And a standard platform evolves as technology evolves. Esri will keep up with the cloud, enterprise, and maps and app technology, and that means that we can use our resources to keep up and improve the invasive plant control apps. We can also add functionality by using the Esri platforms or other Esri apps that's part of that Esri platform. And examples of this are operational dashboards, or we can integrate a service request geoform or survey 123 web form. And an example of this too might be this is integrated into your public website, but then that's integrated back into FieldSeeker. But this allows the public to report on invasive plant control in their particular area. So it's kind of like it could be a crowd reporter type application. And then we can also do activity status maps that can be used in a variety of applications to relay information to the public. And this could be like recent aerial or ground spraying activities, open service requests, or plant occurrences. So it's kind of up to you what you want available to your public. The Esri platform also has story map capability, And this is a way that you can add web content that's under your control. So you can create this story or web page using photos, text, videos, GIS information, and then it provides a link that you can give to the person that manages your website, and just it increases the ways that you can engage the public. We can also add forms for other field data collection if you need something outside of what we're already offering through the FieldSeeker app. We can use Esri Collector or Survey 123, and then that information comes back to the office and becomes part of the data set. And then we can also use Esri's Drone to Map, or their new site scan software for drone data or cloud management data, or data management, and just have a robust drone management system as part of this system as well. Then, you know, the ArcGIS is a scalable system to expand as needs grow and change. And so part of that is we have capabilities to grow into other parts of the Esri platform without, you know, making too many major changes. Another nice feature too is that ArcGIS Online provides many ways to visualize the data. And also, since it is a standard platform, the customer maintains full ownership and control of the data and maps and everything that's part of that system. So you don't have to rely on us to do your reporting or get you access to the data or anything like that. So you just stay in control at all times. A little bit of deep dive on the required software licensing. In regards to FieldSeeker, we do have an office user license, which is a concurrent license that allows one person at a time editing data. So for a typical installation, this might be a quantity of 1 or 2 licenses, depending on the size of your operation. And then we have to have a FieldSeeker mobile user license on each mobile device that you use. And then since it is based on the Esri ArcGIS Online platform, we need at least 1 creator user type with additional creator or editor user types for each named user that will be using the system. And so if you're a new user and you're not currently using Esri, we'll help you with all of that part and help you understand that. But if you are a current Esri user, you might already have access to Esri ArcGIS Online, where you wouldn't have to purchase more or maybe as much. So if you already have ArcGIS Desktop or standard licensing that's current on Esri maintenance, you already have access or an entitlement to ArcGIS Online Creator and also ArcGIS Pro as part of that maintenance payment. So we could utilize that and then just order additional editors, or you know, maybe you have 2 licenses that give you 2 creators, and we just order the balance of editors. And then some agencies are already an existing Esri Enterprise customer where they have a Esri Enterprise license agreement, and those enterprise license agreements will have a quantity of ArcGIS Online user types already available. So you could just ask your GIS coordinator if they have any licensings available that you might be able to use. And if your agency or company is already using ArcGIS Enterprise, FieldSeeker is compatible with that. Frontier, we offer a variety of ruggedized mobile devices. And as I mentioned earlier too, FieldSeeker is compatible with any current generation iOS, Android, or Windows 10 tablet. But you do use these out in the field, and a lot of our customers elect to use a rugged device instead of the, you know, consumer grade with even with a case around it. And we've put over 800 of these Mesa 3s out with our mosquito control clientele the last 4 field season, and they've proven very reliable. It is a Windows 10 tablet that has an optional serial port, so we can connect it to other serial devices to record information. It has reliable GNSS or GPS in the truck cab. The Mesa 3 has 2 to 5 meter GPS or GNSS accuracy. We can add an external GPS receiver if you need higher accuracy than that. It has a 7-inch display, and it's manufactured in the U.S. At Juniper Systems down in Logan, Utah, and comes with a 2-year warranty, and it is repaired in Logan. Another new device that we're excited about, and we're currently testing the performance with the FieldSeeker software, is the Trimble Rugged TDC 600 smartphone. It is an Android device. It has the 1.5 meter accuracy, GPS accuracy, a 6-inch display. It is a cell phone. It's compatible with worldwide LTE, which if you Google that, you'll see the list of carriers, but it's mainly AT&T and T-Mobile as an example. This product is imported, but it does come with a 3-year warranty and is repaired in Trimble's Repair Center in Dayton, Ohio. You're getting the opportunity to meet myself and Chad this morning, but we do have other teammates. Tyler and Chris are our full-time technical support analysts, so they help our software customers day in and day out on the operation or system implementations or data migrations, whatever the case may be. We do have a dedicated software development staff and also dedicated UAV or drone pilots and aircraft. Our software does require annual maintenance. The first year is included with the purchase of our product. Then starting the second year, we will bill annually. But we've tried to add a lot of value to that maintenance. So we do have that formalized help desk system that you can access in different ways to enter a support ticket with us. We do have a goal to have same-day response, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time, except holidays. We have all these different ways for you to contact us to enter a ticket with us. We do give unlimited remote assistance and web training. You have access to the Frontier Learning Lab, which contains user documentation and a library of videos on how to use the software and do different things in the GIS. We can also provide on-site training at $1,800 a day plus travel expenses. And then all the software updates are included, which you'll get new feature enhancements and bug fixes. And part of our support portal, there's an area there that you can enter ideas about new software functionality or these feature enhancements, and we take that into consideration for the next release. And we respect and rely heavily on our customer input. We just want to make sure our software products meets our customer needs. A little bit more on the drones. We have several different brands of varying sizes so they can accommodate different types of payloads for different applications. And the three main areas that we've been providing drones for invasive plant control include the drone inspections, applying pesticides, and then doing mapping with high-resolution cameras or multispectral cameras. And then also we have LiDAR sensors for LiDAR applications. Our staff is FAA licensed and permitted. We're insured and experienced. We can provide training on a drone system that you purchase from us, or you can hire our pilot and aircraft and we'll provide you data back. And all the drone data, we can utilize that in FieldSeeker alongside the other operational data. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the time over to Chad so you can see the software firsthand. And so Chad, I'll get the presenter passed to you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Linda. So as soon as everybody can see my screen, I'll provide you a high-level overview of the look and feel of the FieldSeeker invasive plant software and a brief description of some of the main workflows. So let's just verify that everybody can see the screen. Okay,
yes,
perfect.
You can see it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then we'll look at a couple of specific workflow examples to show how the software can be used in the real world for planning, visualizing, tracking, and reporting. So we'll start with an overview of the Office software. Then we'll take a look at the field software for phones and tablets. So I'm just going to sign in to the browser app using my ArcGIS Online account. And the app will open to a user dashboard where a few key stats are displayed along with the workflows that are available based on the user's role. The dashboard widgets display mechanical and chemical treatment acres by method or by zone, invasive plant acreage by type, and service request status, all for the last 7 or last 30 days. A larger version of the graph can be viewed for a quick look at these basic stats. The actual workflows that are pictured here include map-based workflows for creating, reviewing, and editing field treatments and other control and monitoring activities, along with service requests, as well as workflows for planning treatment areas, managing inventory, viewing reports, configuring the system, and generating simple invoices for time and materials. So let's look at the map, first of all. One of the most, the best basic benefits of a GIS mapping system is that it provides a way for you to view all of your control and monitoring activities in one place. So FieldSeeker acts as the GIS map-based data hub for the entire invasive plants operation, supporting logistics and operational decision-making, more intelligent and interactive reporting, and sharing of information with stakeholders such as contractors, state and federal agencies, landowners, and private associations, and so on. The map itself includes layers for chemical and mechanical treatments as points, lines, and polygons. Plant assessments also as point, lines, and polygons. Plant occurrences, service requests, bio releases, proposed treatment areas, restricted areas, track lines, track areas, and zones. So lots of included data layers are here with the FieldSeeker kind of basic data model. But additional map layers such as ownership, weather, wetlands, etc., can easily be added to the map as part of the GIS configuration. And that's something that we help with in support, or that you can control yourself just through the ArcGIS Online backend. So every feature that is on the map has extensive and configurable attributes and pictures with related activity records that can easily be retrieved. So anything we click on, we get the full details of everything about the feature and all the related activities, as well as any picture attachments and other types of attachments. The map itself supports a large variety of operations, including finding an address, switching base maps, measurements, printing, charts, and info summary, map filters, query, select, export, edit, and time visualization. So that's a lot of things. We're going to take a quick look at a few of these tools. So just the one example here of just switching between different base maps. It starts out with kind of an imagery base map, but there's a wide variety of different Esri base maps that can be used depending on whether we're visualizing something or wanting to print something out and send it to somebody, a member of the public or something like that. So all of these base maps are part of the Esri platform, and this can also include base maps from your own county or regional GIS if that's available. Also want to just show just a simple example here of the measurement tool. So a basic kind of GIS tool that's useful in this context. So if we're trying to figure out the square footage or acreage of an area that we want to do some activity on, then we can get the measurement tool. there's measurements for lines or polygons, and then we can get our square feet or acres. So for planning purposes, for chemical usage purposes, just tools like that can really help with the basic planning of those sorts of things. The print tool is an interesting one too, because it's not only just for printing out what's on the map, but it can also be used to generate a PDF file that can actually include data, and then that can be shared with people, even if they don't have access to the software at all. So if we just want to send a quick printout, but that it actually includes data, so we can do a layout like this, and on the advanced tab here, we have the option to actually include attributes. And so when we print that, it'll create a PDF that actually has the data embedded in it. So people can just use, Acrobat Reader or any other PDF viewer and not only see the map, but actually click on the features and interrogate the data. So that'll create an output. And PDF is one of the formats. There's a bunch of other different formats too, just imagery formats. But that PDF one actually can include the data. So if we look at that now, we get the layout, and then depending on the PDF viewer, you'd be able to just click on a feature and get the details of it, like Acrobat Reader. So that's a print widget. Another one I'll show just briefly is this chart widget. If we go into plant assessment, polygon, so all of these charts, we can use a spatial filter and just show what's on the map, or just show what's in an area that we define. Or we can just do a chart for everything that's in the data. And so, for example, here's a plant assessment polygon. Our demo site covers the whole US, so we've got some data here and there in different places, but this one will show plants by species, and we can just click on those chart elements, and it'll take us to where those are found on the map. So this chart and all the other widgets that we work with is interactive with the map data. So we get a chance to kind of fully explore the data and dynamically move around through it. Another example is just this info summary tool. So in our demo data, we have a small amount of information that we've kind of put together. We'll get zoomed farther out here, but this will show a breakdown of the features by type, and then we can drill down into it. So let me come back to the whole US just so we can, and that info summary updates based on where we are in the map. So if we want to drill down into, all of the places where we did treatments, then we can see by technician, by zone, by type, and as we click on things, we can get the actual details, zoom to it on the map. So the point I'm getting at here is, reports about activities. There's always printed reports, and we have plenty of those, but also just kind of this ad hoc reporting that you can get on the screen. One of the great things about having it be GIS based. So we'll talk a little more about some specific use cases in a few minutes, but for now, let's take a look at a couple of other things back on the dashboard itself. I want to go into the product inventory workflow, and this provides tools for viewing and managing inventory in the warehouse and in vehicles. So we can see what inventory is in the system here. We can also stock the warehouse with chemical ingredients. Chemical ingredients can be added and reconciled, and inventory transactions can be reviewed and edited by supervisors. And then chemical treatments in the field application automatically decrement inventory as they're recorded. So just to show what we're talking about, to add product, if we have received an order of some product and we just need to add some in, then we can record that, and then that product it goes into the warehouse. We can also record transfers to between warehouse or between inventory locations here or in the mobile application. So we'll take a look a little bit on the mobile side later to see how this looks there as well to the field user when they're getting ready to do like a spray event. I'm going to go back to the dashboard because I want to also talk about configuration. Configuration provides tools to add, edit, and delete, or add, edit, and update rather, chemical products and tank mix formulations, technicians, plant species, equipment, and bioagents. So the point here is that this is flexible to evolve with you and your operations as your fieldwork changes. So all of these things can be managed and updated that way. So for example, under products, we have all these different products that are in here as examples, lots of different herbicides and a few surfactants and adjuvants. If we wanted to, let's say for example, define a new tank mix, then here's some that are in here. We can see how that's put together. This tank mix has, these ingredients in it at this ratio. So if we want to define a new tank mix, we can do this. So we'll do an herbicide and pick broad range. And this is, we'll put it for an 0.2 gallons of the herbicide, and then we'll add surfactant. Actually, we'll add, yeah, there we go, some stay put, also 0.2 gallons, and then we'll add water, 10 gallons of water. Hit next, and so now we can give this a name. So this will be broad range 0.8%, and we can put more details down here, such as 0.2 gallons broad range with 10 gallons of water. Like that. We can also specify the app rate per acre or the app rate per minute, as well as a billing rate. If we're going to invoice anybody for using this material, we can put that in here. And then the app rate can be used by the mobile application just for suggesting calculated treatment areas. So we'll save that. And now that tank mix is now available for the field operators to be able to enter onto their trucks. So they would record that when they mix up a tank mix for use in the field that day, and then that product's available for treatments. Another thing to note is just things like the equipment and bioagent and technician. They all have a billing rate that can be entered as well. So if invoices will be generated later for time and materials for any of those things, then that billing rate can be put in, and the field work when it's recorded can just be marked as billable. Also note that the plant species, we have some sample data here with a whole bunch of different plant species on it, but plant species can be added just manually, or they can be imported from a text or CSV file or from a link like the USDA NRCS website. So if we import from a text or CSV file, then we don't have to manually put all this stuff in. So the state or regional plant lists can easily be brought in. There's even a sample format here so that we can see, what that looks like and how it has to look. So even if we wanted to, do some editing and have our own plant list, we could do it in Excel and then just import it so it's faster. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the dashboard. I have a couple of polls before we look at a specific real-world example. So if I can get your input on a couple of these polls, just one simple question is whether you're already using ArcGIS online, and it's just yes, no, or you're not sure. And so, you know, Linda had that stat that such a high percentage of the local government throughout the U.S. uses ArcGIS or Esri software, but that doesn't always mean that weed control or invasive plant control has access to it, or if it is available, that it's being used, you know, for any field work. But okay, so, and we have a number of people on the call who are also using, you know, other Esri stuff that we work with on the mosquito control side too. There's a few people like that. So far, about 60% have voted. Looks like the majority do have ArcGIS online. So appreciate your input there. Give it a couple more seconds here for anybody who hasn't responded to the poll yet. So yeah, overwhelmingly majority is yes, but so, and then as Linda said, sometimes it's available through desktop entitlements. A lot of times people might be using ArcGIS desktop or ArcMap. So it's not, you know, not critical if you don't have any access to it or experience with it. That's something we help out with when we deploy and train. So, okay, so I'm going to close that poll. Looks like most people have voted on that, so I'll close that one. Appreciate your input there. So I have another poll here, which is, are you already using smartphones or tablets in the field for anything? And that could include, you know, Apple or Android or Windows rugged tablets. So again, a lot of times with the weed control applications, there might not be any data collection in the field, or just paper collection, or you know, something like that. So we're just trying to get a feel for if people already have tablets or phones that they're using even for something else. Our mobile application, as we'll see, it runs on any of the different phones or tablets, Apple, Android, or Windows 10. It's available through the stores. So if you already have a device, then you'd be able to run it. Okay, so it looks like most people have that. The other thing is that if you don't have connectivity, then you can still download data and record everything while you're offline. So even if you don't have connectivity in the field, then you can still use the software. Okay, so it looks like most people have voted on that. I just have one more question about the phones and tablets. Just curious about what kind. And this is multiple selections. So if you use more than one kind, you can just select them all. But like I said, we support all the different types. So it's just Apple, Android, or Windows 10. And again, thanks for answering these questions. So it looks like most people have voted, and it's kind of pretty evenly split there, Apple and Android, which isn't too surprising. And then some people also have a Windows 10 a tablet, like our Juniper Mesa is a really good field tablet. And sometimes people have other ones, whether it's, you know, Toughbook or something else that's that works in the field. Okay, so most people have voted on that. I'll go ahead and close that poll, and we'll move on with the demo. Okay, so let's consider a real-world example of how FieldSeeker might be used for invasive water hyacinth control. Okay, so I'm in Florida right now, and that is a big problem in the waterways and lakes. So I'm going to go to the map and just take a look at some of the data that we have on the screen here for the area. So on the screen, we have a few open service requests. So I'll just turn on the legend here so you can see this. We have some open service requests that were reported by the public, some plant assessment features that that were created by staff here in the office by looking at the aerial photo or by physical inspection in the field, and some treatment polygons for past control efforts. So, and these are just examples of some of the mapping data that can be collected in the system. So let's look at how that might be done. So, for example, maybe a service request comes in. They call or email in, someone from the public enters a service request. So I'm just gonna, on the dashboard here, go into the service request workflow, and we'll see what that looks like to just create a new service request. So this is start with just an address search, and the application here that we're using, it's going to be pretty much the same map, but it just lets me put in an address and then creates the request. This could also, a version of this could also be put out on your public website, for example. So we'll put in, start to type the address and it comes up. So there's the one I'm looking for. And as we can see, this location has a dock out here that's being affected by the water hyacinth. So I can just create a service request there and put in some basic info, when it was received, the status. I can leave it open or assign it to a person. All these attributes can be set up however you like. So we'll just add some data here. So it enters the address. The type of request is weed. And we can put in some notes for the technician. So we just save that, and then that service request will be immediately available in the field as well as here in the office. So it's located the request at the house, and maybe I just want to grab that and move it down to the dock. I can do that too. Is just put it where it actually needs to go. So this is just one example of how the service request might be created just from phone calls, emails, or even just the public themselves could report that. How about the plant occurrences? So let me just switch to my iPad, and I'll show how this could look. At least I think I will. It was displaying a minute ago. Okay. Need to get my iPad to display here on the screen, so give me just 1 second. And while I'm working on that, the plant occurrences, what I wanted to show is just a plant reporter type application that could also be made available to the public, like on your website. And okay, here we go. So if I bring up just in a browser here, this could just be linked from your website. It allows the person to just put in some basic information, take pictures, and locate on the map where they're finding these plants, and then what they think the plant is. And so this can just, maybe it's not super accurate data, but it can give invasive plants operations a heads up of problem areas as they start to populate on your operational map. You don't have to start with service requests or plant occurrences though. based on past operations and experience, you might know exactly where your problem areas are, or at least have a good idea. So let's log into the FieldSeeker Invasive Plants mobile application here on our iPad, and we'll see some workflows that we can do there. So I'm going to get logged in. And we'll see that this is going to be using the same data, same map as we were in the Office application. And as data is entered by anyone who's using the system, it's immediately visible to everyone else. So I'll just pick my zone and the vehicle that I'm in. So the mobile application has tools for controlling the map, map layers and visibility for measurement, product inventory and calculation, searching, field scouting and service requests. But its main purpose is to visualize and record invasive plant control data. So these are the kinds of features that can be created. Here's the create new location list. And so, if all you do is record treatments, then you can do that. Chemical treatments would be just herbicides, and the mechanical treatments could be things like digging, ditching, burning, mechanical removal, that kind of thing. But you also have all these other options available for adding to your operational picture. So let's look at an example here where we have water hyacinth kind of growing across a access to a waterway here. So I'll get zoomed in far enough for us to see this. And what we could do here is create a proposed treatment area that delineates the area of primary concern for another crew to work on. So I think I tapped my map and it's trying to bring up a pop-up for me. Well, I'm not sure what I did, but it's thinking hard about it. So I'm going to kill the app here and then log back into it. Sorry about that. I don't know what I tapped, but it didn't like it. So what I want to show is just this idea of creating a proposed treatment area, and then another crew would be able to see that, focus on that area for their actual like mechanical treatment work that they might do with a saw boat, for example, and then they can record that as a related activity. So we'll get relocated here to the area we're in. So here at the entrance to this waterway, as soon as it pulls in the updated base map tiles here, we'll be able to see this a little better. But this is likely to get choked off with hyacinth, so we can just do add location and do a proposed treatment area. We can either select existing nearby polygons or draw in a partial area. So I'm just going to draw in an area here that kind of covers the mouth of the waterway. go to the details, put in a name for it. And this will be by boat. And we're going to do this as soon as possible. You can set a due date and a priority, put in any comments, and it calculates the acres automatically for me. Okay, so I've got a proposed treatment area there. And now this feature would be available for any crew who's going out to do any work. So let's say that the crew goes out and they're doing a mechanical treatment. In the case of water hyacinth, they might actually just cut the plants loose from the stems, and otherwise just physically attack these plants. So if I tap on the proposed treatment area, there's the info that we put in. If I hit the plus button at the bottom, then I can record a related mechanical or chemical treatment. So I'm going to do a mechanical treatment, polygon, and same thing, I can draw in an area, and maybe we just treated this part of it. And then the mechanical treatment, I would be putting in, when I did that work, start and end. The crew can be any number of different people, so more than one person. Weather information could be put in. The treatment method is there. And some of these attributes apply to different kinds of mechanical treatment, but I can also specify what equipment was used. So I used a boat, and then whether it's billable. Let's say that it is billable. And then what plant we're targeting. So anytime I select a plant anywhere in the mobile or office application, I get this plant selector, and here I can start typing, a plant name, and it will find the matching plants. And then I can select those either by common name or scientific name, and it'll enter that in for me. And then I got to put the acreage in. So we'll put in a small, this is a very small area. Okay. So that'd be entering a related mechanical treatment. And it says that I'm missing some mandatory details. But rather than hold us up on that, I'm just going to close out of it. So the mobile app also has a very flexible option called Track Me that lets the field user record the track where they walk, drive, spray, boat, or slog through while they're treating or scouting or whatever they're doing. And then when they're done, record the feature that best encompasses what they're doing. So this could be something as simple as roadside spraying and just tracking where the spray trucks have covered versus not covered. Or in this case, it could be the track a boat takes back and forth and around the edges while doing control work, and then create the treatment polygon from that while also preserving the track so you can see where the crew went. So just to show what this looks like on the mobile, here's a previous treatment for an area where the boat moves around and through, and then the treatment can be created for the area that encompasses everywhere where the boat went. And so that comes in here. As we start doing this Track Me, we want to do a polygon. So I need to turn on Follow GPS. Okay. And we'll do Track Me, polygon. And under settings, here's where we can say, okay, we want to store this as a chemical treatment. We want to store the track, show points in an area, and then we can create the polygon using what's called a convex hull. Now we'll make that a little easier to understand. This is what we mean by convex hull. So again, tracking through the marsh or through whatever, through the field, going in a grid pattern or back and forth or whatever, at the end of the operation, you want to just create the polygon around everything as if you stretched a rubber band around the outside of all of the points. So that's what convex hull means. So after that track me is done, and then the user, has done all of the actual field work, then they save that chemical treatment polygon. The track can be created from GPS. The little play button down here would just track them with streaming GPS, but also the user can also just tap on the map to add the track that they went as well. So it works with GPS or by drawing on the map. Treatments can also be entered back in the office if that's easier than entering on a phone or tablet in the field. But the field application does make it easy to do it while you're out there as well. So rather than having to do everything on paper. Now, just to follow this through, we're kind of running a little long on time here, but I do want to finish out just this kind of workflow. After all the treatments and applications have been done, then back in the office, we can generate reports for activities and summaries. So if I go into reports and under chemical use, for example, we'll look at the chemical use detail. And for this, it's just, putting in the date range, and we can filter on some things. And then it's going to show those chemical treatments. There's also a summary that'll just do the totals, total acres and total amounts. So here's what the chemical use detail will look like. We can also get inventory summaries, or like if we actually do a lot of scouting and figuring out the levels of infestation, we can also do a plant assessment summary, which will show us the breakdown of plants by species and the acreages of those. So we have about a dozen standard reports to start with, and then we're looking for feedback from users as they begin using it to continue adding to that kind of report library. There's also that option to create a simple invoice. So if we go into billing, then anything that we did in the field that was marked as billable, then we can specify that should be included on the bill. And we can create the invoice. It's basically putting in some details here. So this would be like the name, address, and description of what was done. And then it just generates an invoice that can be shown in PDF, Excel, or Word doc that just shows the time and materials for that. And it's pretty basic, but it basically gives us a way to generate those invoices. Oh, it's not showing the actual amount like it was earlier. I must not have had a rate for what I did. But it does give a framework for that simple invoicing. So one last point in this example that I used is that judging effectiveness of control can be challenging at best. So, one of the ways to facilitate that is with photos and imagery. And we're going to talk a lot more about that in detail in an upcoming webinar about using drones in invasive plants workflows. But just to give you kind of a little taste of how that could work with what we're talking about, it's basically possible for us to define a drone flight using a program like SiteScan for ArcGIS, which works with my FieldSeeker invasive plants data and with my DJI Mavic Pro drone and many others. So using this program, I can define an area survey for an area of concern. So if I go into area survey, I can actually look at my invasive plants data. and that can include the service requests and plant occurrences, as well as proposed treatment areas. So if I zoom out here, then there's that proposed treatment area I created. I could proceed to create a flight plan for my drone to fly that area so that I could get a current up-to-date view of a current up-to-date map and imagery of that area. So I could do that before, do my control, then fly it after, and view that mapping data along with my field activities and see how well we hit our target, and then even come back months later and see how well it held. So like I said, we'll cover that in a lot more detail in the upcoming drone webinar, but just be aware that the ArcGIS platform has many different ways that it can use drone imagery in your mapping project, which adds a whole new dimension to the operation. So due to time constraints, I've just focused on this one example with invasive plants, and that's an example with invasive aquatics. But FieldSeeker invasive plants can also be used, to track roadside spraying for conventional noxious weeds or just treatments for noxious weeds. And this example, I promise, will take only about 2 minutes, but I just want to show, what that example might look like on the map of tracking the roadside spraying progress through part of a county. So I'm going to go to an area here up by Havre, Montana. And for this, I'm just going to change my base map to this navigation dark mode, so it's a little easier to see my stuff. So as we do the roadside treatment, through the air, through the county, then that'll show up on the map and we'll be able to easily see where we have covered and where we haven't covered. And then each of these, has the details of what was sprayed and how much, and then the mile markers and all of that. So tracking, on a map that everybody can see versus just on paper maps that people have to go and look at is pretty easy for us to accomplish, and then be able to run the reports on it at the end of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Linda. I had one more poll, but I've run us kind of long here, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to her just for a few closing remarks. And as we said, just enter any questions you have in the questions panel, and we'll respond to those after we close out today. All right, thank you. Thanks for your attention.
Thanks, Chad. That was a lot of great information, and you sure whet our appetite to see more about the software. I just want to wrap up with a couple of slides. We do have some other webinars coming up. The next two are on our mosquito control products for larviciding surveillance service request, and also on our Windows ULV for truck spraying applications. But we do have a drone presentation coming up on December 10th, where we'll focus on invasive plant control applications. And then another one on December 15th, where we'll focus on mosquito control applications. Then after the holidays, we'll come back on January 14th. And if you're thinking about migrating to another software or purchasing new software, this webinar will be where we'll share, ideas on how to make that flow smoothly and things you might need to plan on to do that. For more information about our products, you can hit our website at frontierprecision.com/invasive-plant. Or the other thing too, you can hit our support button and go to our Frontier blog and subscribe to it. A lot of articles get published out there, not only on our software, but there are other mapping and survey applications. So we just really appreciate your time today. I will leave the webinar open for about 10 minutes. If you have any questions that you want to still post in the questions section of that GoToWebinar window. You will also be offered a survey when we close out the webinar, and there you can also request pricing information or a personalized web demo. We'd love to learn more about your specific needs and answer your specific question. We also have a test server set up, so if you want to try the software firsthand, we can give you access to that. So please just let us know what you need. We're here to be of service, and thank you so much for your time today.